Have you ever taken a shower, dried off, and gone about your day thinking you were fresh and clean, only to feel a weird itch later on? Or maybe you caught a strange smell that made you wonder, did I miss a spot? Now, imagine this happening not just once, but over and over. And you don't even notice, until the rash appears. Until the irritation won't stop. Until you're sitting in a doctor's office, hearing the words, possible skin infection. Here's the truth nobody really talks about. After the age of 70, there are certain parts of your body that become high-risk zones. Not just for odor or discomfort, but for bacteria buildup, inflammation, and even serious infections. And yet, these are the same body parts people often skip over. Not on purpose, but because no one ever told them how important these areas really are. It's not your fault. A lot of folks believe that just standing under the shower does the job. Let the water run, rinse off, towel down, done. But at this stage of life, that's just not enough. You see, as we grow older, the body changes in quiet ways. Your skin becomes thinner. Your immune system doesn't fight off germs the way it used to. And if you've got arthritis, balance issues, or trouble reaching certain areas, it becomes even easier to miss a spot. And when those missed spots start to fester, it doesn't just affect your body, it affects your confidence, your comfort, and your dignity. That's why this video matters more than you might think. Because today, we're not just talking about hygiene. We're talking about protecting your well-being. We're talking about avoiding preventable infections. We're talking about staying in control of your body, and your health, no matter your age. So by the end of this video, you'll know the 3 most neglected body parts that absolutely need your attention every single day. Not once a week. Not when you remember. Every day. And I'll also show you exactly how to clean them safely and gently, without fancy products or complicated routines. This might just be the most important personal care advice you hear all week, especially if you're over 70, or caring for someone who is. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever helped a parent, a spouse, or even yourself with hygiene, and noticed something that didn't feel quite right? Maybe a rash, an odor, a rough patch of skin? If so, comment below. Just type, "I've seen it." You're not alone. These moments are more common than you think. And if elderly health and dignity are important to you, take a second to hit that subscribe button. Here on Elderly Wisdom Guide, we talk about the things nobody else wants to talk about, but everyone needs to know. Because caring for your body doesn't end at 70, if anything, that's when it matters most. Let's get into it. Let's start with a place most people never think about after childhood. The belly button. Yep. That little spot right in the center of your stomach. You probably haven't paid it much attention since the day your umbilical cord fell off. But let me tell you something surprising. It can quietly become one of the dirtiest places on your body, especially after the age of 70. Let me walk you through a real situation. Picture this, an older gentleman, maybe in his mid-70s, goes to the doctor with this strange rash. It's red, itchy, and spreading around his lower abdomen. He thinks maybe it's a reaction to laundry soap. The doctor checks, runs some tests, and you know what they find? It's not a disease. Not an allergy. Not some mystery virus. It was his belly button. Full of sweat, old skin, oils, dust, and lint, stuff that had been collecting for weeks. It had built up silently, turning into the perfect little pocket of bacteria. And because he couldn't see it, couldn't feel it at first, and honestly didn't think about it, it got worse and worse. Now here's why that happens. The belly button, or the navel, is basically a small, warm, enclosed cave. It doesn't get much air. And it doesn't clean itself. When you add aging skin into the mix, skin that's thinner, drier, more fragile, and maybe a little extra weight or reduced mobility, that little area becomes an ideal hiding place for bacteria and fungus. Warmth. Moisture. Darkness. That's all bacteria needs. And for older adults who might not be able to twist or bend like they used to, the belly button often gets skipped altogether. You might run water over it in the shower and figure that's enough. But it isn't. Especially not anymore. Here's what most people don't know, and this might sound a little surprising: your belly button can start to smell. Not just a little body odor, I mean, noticeably unpleasant. And it can be the early warning sign of something brewing under the surface. So, let's be clear. This isn't about vanity. It's not about having the cleanest navel on the block. This is about preventing skin infections, reducing inflammation, and staying one step ahead of potential health problems that are completely avoidable. Now, let's talk solutions. And no, I'm not going to tell you to go buy expensive creams or harsh disinfectants. You don't need that. What you do need is a simple, gentle routine. Here's what you can do starting tonight: take a soft washcloth, or even better, a cotton swab dipped in warm water with a bit of mild soap. Gently clean inside the navel. Don't scrub hard. Just let the moisture lift any dirt or debris. Then, dry it completely. That part's important, because moisture left behind can do more harm than good. If your skin is sensitive, do this 2 or 3 times a week instead of every day, but be consistent. If you're caring for a loved one, help them with this step if they can't reach it. It's 5 seconds of care that could save them weeks of discomfort later. And if mobility is a concern, even a quick wipe down during dressing time can make a huge difference. Just remember this: the belly button may be small, but the problems it causes when ignored can be big. So don't skip it. Give it a little love, and it'll quietly keep you healthy. Now, while the belly button is a hidden troublemaker, the next area we're going to talk about is right out in the open, and yet, still gets overlooked all the time. And it's one of the easiest places for bacteria to thrive. Right behind your ears. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. A caregiver once told me how her elderly mother, who had always been so clean and well-kept, suddenly started giving off this strange smell. At first, she thought maybe her mother wasn't brushing her teeth as well. Then she thought it was the scalp, or maybe even her clothes. They changed shampoos, tried new lotions, checked for infections. But nothing helped. The smell kept coming back. And then one day, while helping her mom wash her face, she gently pulled back her hair. And that's when she noticed it. Just behind her ears, in those little creases where the ear meets the head, was a sticky, waxy buildup. Dead skin, sebum, old shampoo, even bits of sweat that had dried and hardened over time. That's where the odor was coming from. And what's worse, that buildup had irritated the skin so much, it was starting to break down. Now you might be thinking, behind the ears? Really? Yes, really. Because here's what most people don't realize: behind your ears is one of the oiliest parts of your body. That area contains sebaceous glands, which means it constantly produces oil. When you're younger, your body naturally sheds dead skin and handles that buildup more easily. But as we age, that system slows down. The oils thicken. The dead skin builds up. The movement becomes more limited. And if you're not washing your hair every day, or if you struggle to reach behind your ears, that little fold of skin becomes a hidden trap. It traps oils. Traps sweat. Traps bacteria. Over time, it doesn't just smell bad. It can lead to skin irritation, fungal infections, and even open sores. And yet, this is one of the most overlooked hygiene spots, even by professional caregivers. Here's the common mistake: you rinse your face. You wash your hair. The water runs down, maybe some shampoo lathers up. And you figure, that's good enough. But the truth is, it's not. The creases behind your ears need intentional cleaning, especially after 70. So, here's what you can do. Each day, whether it's in the morning or at night, take a warm, damp cloth and gently wipe behind your ears. Don't forget underneath, right where the ear connects to the head. You don't need harsh scrubs or fancy products. Just warm water and a bit of mild soap is enough. Be gentle, but be thorough. Wipe, rinse, and most importantly, dry. Moisture left behind can cause fungal problems, especially in humid environments or under thick hair. And if you're caring for someone who can't do this themselves, just add it to their face washing routine. It takes only a few seconds, but it can prevent days of discomfort and embarrassment. I know it may seem like a small thing. But when you take care of these small things, you're preserving dignity. You're keeping someone comfortable, confident, clean. And trust me, when someone smells fresh and feels fresh, it changes the way they carry themselves. It gives them a quiet kind of pride. A peace of mind that matters. Now, we've talked about the belly button, hidden but dangerous. And we've just covered behind the ears, right out in the open, but just as risky. But there's one final spot. One that even experienced caregivers often overlook. And neglecting it? It doesn't just cause discomfort. It can lead to serious, even life-threatening, consequences. Skin folds. Especially under the breasts. This one can be uncomfortable to talk about. But ignoring it? That's where real problems begin. Let me tell you about a senior woman, in her early 80s, who suddenly began experiencing persistent redness and itching beneath her breasts. At first, she thought it was just a heat rash. So, like many of us would, she grabbed some powder from the cabinet and gave it a try. A few days passed. It didn't get better. In fact, it got worse. The skin turned raw. Then cracked. It started to sting. It even began to smell faintly sour. Her daughter took her to a clinic, confused and worried. They'd tried everything, powders, creams, ointments from the pharmacy shelf. But nothing seemed to stop it from coming back. And do you know what the doctor said? It wasn't about what she was using. It was about what she wasn't doing. She wasn't cleaning and fully drying under the breast area every day. Not thoroughly. Not gently. Not consistently. That area, along with other skin folds like under the belly, in the groin, or under the arms, had become a moist, warm environment. The perfect breeding ground for bacteria, yeast, and something called intertrigo, a skin condition caused by friction, heat, and trapped moisture. And here's the thing, this is incredibly common in older adults. Because as we age, the skin becomes thinner, more fragile, more prone to tearing, and areas where the skin folds over itself, especially where air can't circulate, start to trap sweat, oils, and even old soap residue from the shower. And guess what happens next? Redness, itching, burning, then rashes, cracking, pain. And if left untreated, it can lead to open wounds or even severe infections. A lot of folks, maybe even you, think powder will solve it. That it keeps the area dry. But here's the reality, if you apply powder to unclean skin, you're just trapping bacteria underneath a dusty layer. And over time, that makes the infection worse, not better. So, what's the right approach? Simple daily care. But done the right way. Here's what I always recommend, each day, especially in warm weather or after sweating, take a clean, soft cloth with a mild cleanser. Gently lift any skin folds, under the breasts, under the belly, even between the thighs, and wash the area carefully. Rinse. Then pat dry. Don't rub. Pat. Make sure the area is completely dry. That's key. If needed, And only if recommended by a healthcare provider, you can use a moisture barrier cream or a gentle antifungal treatment, especially if there's any sign of irritation. Some caregivers also use a thin layer of clean, breathable fabric, like a folded cotton cloth, under the breasts to absorb moisture throughout the day. It's a simple, affordable way to reduce friction and allow the skin to breathe. And if mobility is an issue, if bending or lifting is difficult, this is a perfect opportunity for a family member or caregiver to step in and help with care. Because what may seem like just a bit of rash today can turn into an ER visit if it spreads, becomes infected, or starts to weep. But let me tell you something beautiful. Once that woman began cleaning and drying properly, the irritation faded within a week. Her skin healed. She smiled again. She said, "I didn't realize how uncomfortable I'd been, until I finally felt comfortable again." And that's the truth for so many older adults. These aren't just hygiene tips. They're daily acts of dignity. They're gentle ways of protecting the body, and the spirit, from unnecessary suffering. Because when someone feels clean, dry, and comfortable, they move more confidently. They sleep better. They laugh a little easier. And what could be more important than that? Now remember, we've covered 3 areas today: the belly button, small, but silently risky; behind the ears, hidden in plain sight; and under the breasts or skin folds, vulnerable spots that need special care. But what ties all of this together isn't just cleanliness. It's love. It's awareness. It's giving your body, or the body of someone you love, the daily attention it deserves. Because after 70, health isn't just about big hospital visits or medications. It's about the little things, the quiet habits, that make each day safer, more comfortable, and more full of grace. So, let's talk about what all of this really means. Because the emotional side of caregiving, and self-care, runs deeper than just skin. It's strange, isn't it? To think that something as simple as forgetting to clean behind your ears, or letting moisture build up under the breast, could quietly lead to infections, hospital stays, even a loss of independence. But that's the reality for many older adults today. Not because they're careless, but because aging changes everything. Mobility slows. Balance becomes fragile. Reaching certain areas, or even remembering the tiny details of self-care, starts to fade. And if you're a caregiver, or someone watching over a parent, a partner, or a friend, you know how hard it is to bring these things up. How awkward it can feel to say, "Let's make sure that's clean," or, "Can I help you reach there?" But here's what I want you to hear: this isn't about shame. It's not about being perfect. It's not even about hygiene alone. It's about protecting dignity. Because a rash under the breast, an odor behind the ears, a hidden infection in the navel, these aren't just skin-deep problems. They affect confidence. They affect comfort. And over time, they can chip away at the joy and freedom we all deserve in our later years. But here's the good news, and I mean this deeply. You're not powerless. This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. When you know the risks, when you understand why these 3 small areas matter, you gain something so valuable: choice. The choice to clean gently, to check regularly, to care without hesitation, and to make sure the people you love feel seen, respected, and safe, even in the quiet, private corners of life. So tonight, when it's time to freshen up, pause. Take just 30 seconds. Look at the belly button, behind the ears, under every fold of skin. Whether it's your own body, or someone else's you help care for, those 30 seconds are a small act with big power. Because those moments say, "I see you. I care. You matter." And the best part? You don't need expensive creams. You don't need a medical degree. You don't even need to be perfect. You just need awareness. A soft towel. A little time. And love. And those things? You already have them. You're already doing more than most by listening, by learning, by showing up in this way. And that's what makes all the difference. So, let's bring it all together. The belly button. Behind the ears. Under the breasts, or within any skin folds. These might seem like small, unimportant places, but after 70, they can quietly become some of the most critical areas to care for each day. Clean them with intention. Dry them completely. And most of all, don't ignore them. Because when you give these areas the care they deserve, you're not just preventing irritation or infection, you're giving yourself, or someone you love, comfort, confidence, and protection. That's real care. That's real wisdom. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever helped a loved one and discovered a hygiene issue no one ever warned you about? Maybe it was something awkward to talk about. Or something you wish someone had told you sooner. Share your story in the comments. You never know, your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. You could help someone feel less alone, or even help them prevent a painful situation. And if you found this video helpful, if something clicked, if a light bulb went off, then go ahead and tap that subscribe button. Here at Elderly Wisdom Guide, we don't talk down to anyone. We talk with you, with honesty, warmth, and respect. Because growing older shouldn't mean guessing or feeling ashamed. It should mean growing wiser, together. We're here to help you stay informed, stay protected, and feel seen. So stick with us, you belong here. And finally, thank you. Thank you for watching, for caring, and for wanting to do better, for yourself or for someone you love. It takes heart to show up. It takes courage to learn something new. And it takes love to act on it. Stay strong. Stay gentle. Stay curious. And I'll see you, right here, in the next video. Until then, take good care of yourself. You deserve it.